Hello, everybody. Welcome, Shark Family. Welcome, YouTube. How is everybody doing? We'll see how this goes. Sometimes it's a hit or miss, but nonetheless, we are here. We got some new images by the FBI. Video too. We got two videos and we got a few pictures. Man, this is creepy stuff right here. This is the stuff of nightmares right here. Let me say hi to everybody. See how everybody is doing. Eileen, good to see you. Jackie, good to see you. Whitney, good to see you. Tammy, Britt, Valerie, Marisa, The Secret Shade. Hey, thanks for emailing me. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for just sending me information. I woke up and my phone was blowing up. So I was like, let's go. Tammy, good to see you. Jazzy Jazz Jazz, good to see you. All right. If you're lurking, come in the chat, say hi. I like to say hi to everybody. Hey, Chloe, how you doing? Good morning. Or good afternoon now. It's already 12. Jeez, man. It's already 12. So we got some new images. We got some new video. Very disturbing images. I mean, it's just, oof, gave me goosebumps. Gave me goosebumps. But how's everybody doing? Felicia, hey, how you doing? Oh, let me put live chat on here because sometimes I won't be able to see. There we go. Now I can see Felicia. All right, cool. There we go. The Honey Doll, good to see you. Welcome. Welcome. So let's see. I do want to read this by FBI Director Kash Patel in this case. And then the White House, there's a briefing going on. So I paused it and we can go over that together. We can go over the videos and we can go over the pictures. A lot of stuff to go over. Let's see. Kash Patel. There we go. Let me read this for you guys. Whoops. Hey, Cole. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Let's see. All right. So Kash Patel says he retweeted FBI's most wanted, and it says the FBI is offering a reward up to $50,000 for information leading to the recovery of Nancy Guthrie and or the arrest and conviction of anyone involved in her disappearance. New images released today show an armed individual appearing to have tampered with the camera at Nancy Guthrie's front door the morning of her disappearance. The FBI seeks information that will lead to the identity of this individual. So there's that individual right there on Ring camera or Nest camera. Let's see. So he says new images in the search for Nancy Guthrie. Over the last 8 days, the FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department have been working closely with our private sector partners to continue to recover any images or video footage from Nancy Guthrie's home that have been lost, corrupted, or inaccessible due to a variety of factors, including the removal of recording devices. The video was recovered from residual data located in backend systems. I mean, look at that. That's freaking badass. Okay. That's the FBI for you right there. Let's continue. It says, working with our partners as of this morning, law enforcement has uncovered these previously inaccessible new images showing an armed individual appearing to have tampered with the camera at Nancy Guthrie's front door the morning of her disappearance. We continue. Anyone with information, please contact 1-800-CALL-FBI or visit tips.fbi.gov. So do your thing, Internet. Do your thing, Internet. Find this guy. Get this piece of shit off the streets, man. Targeting elderly women. I mean, come on. That's like the low of the low. So we'll go over some of these images, and I want to hear you guys' thoughts. Let's see. So here's the missing persons from the FBI. Nancy Guthrie, January 31st, 2026, Tucson, Arizona. And this is Savannah, her mom, having lunch. So here are the images. Oh, let me put this one. So I'm gonna show the images. I mean, they're very creepy images. I mean, look at this. Gloves, jacket, mask. Here's another footage. There's that gun right there. That's why I circled the gun right there. Hold on, guys. Give me 1 second. Okay, my food's here. 1 second. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I mean, look at that. He's coming in with a gun. Small man exists. Absolutely, I agree. So we're gonna go through some more images. Here's the other image right there. Look at that. Trying to cover his face. Here's another image. Hey, Lena M. Good to see you. Welcome. Another image right there. And then this is the one where he's trying to cover the camera. Hey, Jackie, how you doing? So, internet, do your thing. Get this freaking creep, man. Look at this creep. At night, while everybody's sleeping in their home, where you should be comfortable, feel safe, this POS is going around the neighborhood and seeing if there's, whatever his motive is. If it was targeted, if it was an opportunistic event, if I don't know, man. This is just so creepy. These images. Look at that. Hey, let me ask you guys a question. Do you think this is Tomas? Let me bring up a picture of Tomas. And I want to be careful, okay? Because I don't want to point fingers, but I'm just asking if you guys think this is Tomas. I don't think so. And I don't know what his role is, but I mean they're investigating the family as they should. They go from the family, they go from people who are immediate family, immediate friends within that group, and then they go out. Do you see what I'm saying? They work the way out. They have to start with immediate family. I don't think he had anything to do with her kidnapping. The secret shade close as now. I suspect family earlier, but at this point they would absolutely know if this was him. Tammy says no. All right, yeah. So you guys are kind of thinking along the same lines as I am. I just don't see anything right now that points to their them being the culprits, right? Even law enforcement was saying that there's no prime suspect in the sense of family, right? So I don't know if there's more developments, if later it comes out, but as of right now, I don't see anything other than what sources were saying with Ashley Banfield. And I know she believes it, right? If your sources are telling you something, I would believe it too. But I haven't seen anything from law enforcement that says, yeah, we're going after them. If you have any tips regarding that. So I do want to be very careful with that. I do want to, if something else comes up right now, later, then okay. But um, I just, I haven't heard anything, well, I heard the opposite. Law enforcement, the sheriffs, and even the FBI were saying the opposite. and that this could be hurting the investigation. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. So I do want to be very careful with that, but I wanted to ask a question like, does this look like Tomas? I don't think so. I don't see a beard, and he didn't shave because there's pictures of him later still with his beard. Let me see if I can bring that up. Oh yeah, he's covering himself right there. The secret shares they don't have to do all that for an elderly woman. One man would be enough, and all they need to do is to get her to open the door, says the secret shade. The honey doll says, I just got turned on to this case. How long has it been missing? Since January 31st, I believe, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, because I'm catching up myself. I myself am catching up on this case. Today we have some breaking news. We have new images. If you guys are just tuning in with the FBI, FBI came out with new images of a suspect of a person of interest. Let me play that video. And then there's another video too. Hold on, let me play that video. 10th day? Wow. Let me play this video for you guys. Close says it's possible at the time Ashley's source told her he was a suspect. It was true. But at this point, the family has been super cooperative to the point of a consensual search of the home. Yes, I saw that. Absolutely great point that they are being cooperative and had a consensual search of the home, because that looked bad at first. If they were like, no, we're not going to let you search our home, which I get, right? You have that right. But if you wanted to help your family out with whatever means or however uh, you could, you would want them to search your house if you were innocent, right? That's one thought. So at first, people were saying that, they're not cooperative. They needed a search warrant. But now later on, they were saying, no, they're being very cooperative. And they did a consensual search of the home. That's huge. Normally, they would need a search warrant. So I thought that was big. And I've heard that they are being cooperative. So I'm reserving judgment until I see anything else. I don't see anything now. And I see the opposite. They're being cooperative. Okay. So I do want to be careful with that. And I do want to be careful with pointing the fingers to family members, because they might be going through it as well. I mean, Savannah's sister, that's her mom too, Nancy. Right. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on things, of course. But that's huge to me. Is they were like, yeah, come on in, search the home. Kim says somebody should investigate this band the son-in-law is part of. Tammy says, I see no car waiting behind him, which leads me to believe that somebody going through the back to open the front door for him. That's interesting too. And if you notice too, the video starts off him being on the porch. So I think that's another information that the FBI is not releasing, is which direction did he come from, right? Did he come from the right side, the left side, or did he come from the street? So that was a little tidbit of information that I noticed that wasn't part of the video. Maybe they could be holding that information. But yeah, you can see the gun right here. I mean, this is so freaking scary right here. And then I pointed this out too because there's no package there. If you guys remember, let me bring this up. I was talking about this in my Discord earlier, and it's probably nothing. I don't know. Sometimes I fixate on like the small details, and the small detail that I noticed was the package there, and I was like, was that package there before the intruder or after the intruder? But it was after, because look, there's no blood down here, right? There's no blood, and then the package isn't there. So I don't know. Little things like that, it interests me because of timelines and it could be nothing, but it's just when you do like web sleuthing, you find little things here and there, and you kind of get fixated on them. Sometimes it's nothing, sometimes it's something, and I think to me it was just like the timeline. Was it there before, after? Did he notice anything right when he delivered it? But yeah, you guys were saying they don't usually pay much attention, which is a good feedback, right? They don't. They sometimes they have their headphones on, but um interesting nonetheless. Interesting nonetheless. So let's see. There's another video too. Let me see if I can bring that other video up. Oh, and someone by the name of, let me see, give credit where credit is due. Miss Christina Wayford. I think that's her name. So credit to her, shout out to her. She did a color photo for this one, for the black and white video or picture. So she says, try to color version to see if it helps anything. So they added color to that one, which was it's interesting. And then the Secret Shade also sent me some of these pictures right here too. I mean, these look like AI, but they look I don't know if they're AI or if they're color corrected, adding color to it, but pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. I did put these images in ChatGPT. I'll show you guys right now. Where is it? I'll show you guys. Because at first I thought it was tactical gear that this guy was wearing, like boots. But in one of the images, it looks like tennis shoes. Let me see if I can bring it up. Oh, here it is. This one's not as good as the other ones, but it's something at least. Let me see. Image. So I ran it through Chat GPT and I asked it to add color to it. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. But I think the other ones are better. Like this one right here. The ones that Secret Shade sent me. Looks like he's wearing jeans. Let me see if I can make it bigger. There we go. He's got that freaking flashlight in his mouth. Right. Secret Shade. That was, yeah, maybe something that we're not able to see. So that's pretty cool. Like the internet sleuths, man. They're on this case. Let me show the other video. Let's see. So I know there's a video. Let me bring this up. Video. Here it is. Okay. So this is this idiot trying to cover the ring cam or the Nest cam with some brush, some grass, some brush. What an idiot. Crime Time Grime says, must be an Olight mini flashlight. So there's this guy, there he is. He's trying to fumble with this foliage, trying to cover the Nest cam. I mean, he comes prepared. Look at, he comes prepared. He has a backpack. He has gloves. He has a mask. And it's like he didn't take into account that there might be a ring camera or a Nest camera. And so he tries to get like foliage or something to cover the camera, and it's grass. It's like brush, cilantro or something. What is that? Basil? What? He's trying to cover the camera with basil. Oh man, right? Yeah, he could have just put an electric tape over it or something, but he grabbed basil instead. He grabbed herbs. What a freaking idiot, man! That's what I'm like, man. They're gonna get this guy's at. They're gonna get him. And so I was like thinking, cilantro, yeah. I'm like, what the heck, man? Um, So I'm like, no, they're gonna get this guy. And I think what happened was with the ransom note, I see why they took it so seriously, right? Look at this guy. I mean, yeah, we're kind of giggling about it, but it's scary, right? So you have this video that the FBI is pulling out now, and then you have a ransom note. So you put two and two together, and you're like, okay, they definitely have to um, thread lightly. But look at this idiot, man. When I saw this, I was like, they're gonna get this dude. There's no way. Comes prepared, has a backpack, has gloves. Where's your tape, buddy? Where's your tape? Man. That's true, honey, doll. People are so ballsy these days, right? Right. Close says this guy's a dummy. He's one stressful moment away from blasting off his peen with that holster placement. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, this one right there. He has it. I mean, this screams of organized and disorganized all in one piece. Yeah, they're gonna get this dude. They're gonna. There's no way this dude's gonna get away. There's just no way. They're gonna get this dude. In my humble opinion, they will get this guy. And yeah, if you guys have any tips or anything regarding this, or you guys kind of maybe recognize this guy, call it in. Call it in the FBI tip line. Somebody might know who this is. A lot of the times when they have masks, a lot of the times when they have gloves, there's no fingerprints. Somebody maybe recognize the way they walk, their shoes, their pants, the backpack, right? It could be maybe the gloves, or hey, this guy always wears gloves over his other gloves, right? That's why they look so bulky. He looks like he has two gloves on for extra protection. That's what it looks like. Let me go back to the video. Let me play this video again. There we go. There we go. So he doesn't look like he has another glove underneath those latex gloves. Hey, what's up? David is guilty. Oh, you think it's cowboy boots? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, look at that. It might be cowboy boots. I thought they were let me see, tennis shoes. But you might be right. Might be cowboy boots. Crime Time Grime? Good eye. What do you guys think? Is it boots? Cowboy boots? Is it tactical boots? Or is it tennis shoes? Or Crocs? No, they're not Crocs. Huh, look at that. That's interesting. No, David is guilty. There's no claim that this is the son-in-law or the brother-in-law. Is that one and the same? Goal says, how did he get in? Two doors before entry. The first door is security door. Before you have to access to the front door, was the security door unlocked or was the back door left open? If true. Marisa says they could be lined gloves that make them look so sticky or so thick. Oh yeah. Could be, huh? Yeah, look at this. He's like looking. Yeah, see, this whole time he has a flashlight in his mouth, I think. No, he doesn't. Okay, let me see. Okay, I thought he had the flashlight in his mouth. Yeah, see, these gloves look thick. Did anything stick out to you guys with this video? What up, Flojo? Anything sticks out? Oh, boxing gloves? Hey, Mariska. Boxing gloves? Whoa, what? Backpack. Look at the backpack too. I don't see any yeah, they look like OJ gloves, huh? See, I thought there he had the flashlight, but it's his the reflectiveness of the backpack. I mean, I would have loved to seen this dude get blasted right here. You know, with the 12 gauge, a shotgun, one of those one of those Civil War cannons. You know what I'm talking about? Those Civil War cannons where the ball comes out. I would have loved to see this dude get blasted by one of those. Opens the door and then you know, Nancy lights one of those lights the wick on fire, and he only has like 2 seconds to run, and he just gets blasted. I would love to see that, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if Nancy's alive. I don't know. The statistics show later on the longer that somebody's missing, the less likely that they're alive. Statistically speaking, it's unfortunate. It's heartbreaking. However, that is statistics. I personally want to believe that she is alive, but I don't think so. I think it's gone too far. It's gone too long. The ransom note. There hasn't been any other news after that, and yeah, I mean, I doubt it. Too crime time, and yeah, and then she has medical issues as well, right? And she's elderly. She has trouble walking, right? Long periods of long distances. I mean, there's all these variables that it's just it's heartbreaking. There she is right here having lunch with Savannah and Annie. Annie's to the left over here, but I just took a screenshot of them too. They look super happy here. And then now, January 31st, she's missing. Now she's in the FBI's missing persons website. You know, you can go from eating lunch with your family to being on the FBI's most or the FBI's missing persons. And you know what every family says? They say, "We never thought this would happen to us until it did. We never thought this would happen to us until it did." And you never think that it would happen to you until it does. Let me show you guys the FBI's list right here. Hold on a second. Let me share my screen. Right. What do you guys think that is? That coughing that does look like coughed up blood. Yeah, that was my first initial thought was like somebody coughed blood here. So, but what? How does that fit and everything? Did that person punch her and then she walks out like, "Hey, let's get out of here," or robbery gone wrong? Right? She tries to escape. He grabs her. I mean, that's gonna be interesting to find out how that happened. Let me share my screen real quick. You see that? This is the FBI's website. And now Nancy Guthrie is on there. And then I was scrolling, and then look who's down here too. Sebastian Rogers. He's still missing. Still missing. Let me click on the poster. Make sure you guys can see that. Okay, yeah, you guys can see that. I think she did live alone, didn't she? I don't think she lived with anybody. I think that would have came out already. Let me read the FBI what they're saying. Okay, so this is the straight from the FBI's wanted kidnapping website. January 31st, 2026, Tucson, Arizona. We'll read what the FBI says. The FBI is offering a reward up to $50,000 for information leading to the recovery of Nancy Guthrie and or the arrest and conviction of anyone involved in her disappearance. The details. The FBI's Phoenix field office and the Pima County Sheriff's Department in Arizona are investigating the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, last seen at her residence in the Catalina Foothills neighborhood of Tucson, Arizona, on the evening of January 31st, 2026. She's considered to be a vulnerable adult who has difficulty walking, has a pacemaker, and needs daily medication for her heart condition. The FBI, the images above show an armed individual appear to have tampered with the camera at Nancy's front door the morning of her disappearance. The FBI seeks information that would lead to the identity of this individual. If you have any information concerning this case, please contact FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. You may also contact your local FBI office, the nearest American embassy or consulate, or you can submit a tip online at tips.fbi.gov. So do your thing. Do your thing, internet. The internet is undefeated. Get this guy, get this POS off the street, man. Let's go to the briefing. I want to hear what they had to say. Thank you guys. If you guys are joining us, thank you so much. Yolande, good to see you. Valerie, good to see you. Art, good to see you. Who else? If I didn't call your name, raise your hand. I'll say hi to you. I like saying hi to everybody. All right, here's the briefing. I paused it so we can all listen to it. Let's see. Here we go.
Investigation so far, and has there been any more contact from the White House or the president with the family?
I don't think anybody will be satisfied until this case is brought to a close and until Nancy Guthrie is returned home safely with her loved ones.
About the White House contacts, has the president contacted the family since?
Not since that initial phone call. Sure, Tamara.
Thank you. The National Governors Association is removing a meeting with President Trump from his agenda because only Republicans were invited.
Okay, I thought that was going to be more. There's just one question. Okay. Sorry about that. All right, this came out 2 hours ago. Let me share this one with you guys. We'll go over some news. Let's see. Share my screen. Screen share. There we go.
Home. That's according to a source familiar with the investigation. The person seen in that image is now considered a suspect. This is a very fast-moving story. Nancy Guthrie's home. That's according to a source familiar with the investigation. The person seen in that image is now considered a suspect. This is a very fast-moving story. I want to bring in our national law enforcement and intelligence correspondent, Tom Winter, who has this reporting. Tom, what do we know?
Yeah, I have this reporting along with my colleague, Kate Jonathan Deans here, our chief investigative reporter from WNBC. And what we're being told is that at some point here, in obviously the last 24, 48 hours, law enforcement has been able to determine and apparently been able to find a surveillance video image of a person that they're calling a subject. That doesn't mean that they're a suspect. That doesn't mean that there's an arrest warrant. They just want to find out who this person is. This person might be masked in some way. This person might have a backpack or tools with them. We're not quite sure. We haven't seen the image ourselves. We do anticipate that the FBI will release this information this afternoon, perhaps quite imminently, this photograph. That's the gist of basically what we do expect. We don't know if we'll get any other information information as well. Obviously, as we've been talking here over the past 10 days, this has been an investigation that has developed some evidence, but has been hurting for some clues as far as exactly who we might be looking for. And it appears that at the moment that might be changing, Kate.
Let me bring in our Chief Justice contributor, Jonathan Dienst. He's also WNBC New York's chief investigative reporter. Jonathan, you had some of this reporting earlier as well. I know it probably matches what Tom is telling us. Do we think we will at some point see this image?
Yes, it's our understanding that sometime, perhaps as early as 12:15 or sometime afterwards, that image will be released to the public. Law enforcement was hoping that perhaps someone internally or with the family might recognize who this person might be, but we're told it's not a very good image. The person is masked, is wearing a backpack, and is not readily identifiable. So
Oh, these are just the images. Whoops, 1 second. Sorry about that. I just want to see what the latest is up right now. There's a few things that just came out an hour ago, so let me see.
Is releasing new images of a possible subject in Nancy's disappearance. Authorities believe the 84-year-old was taken from her home against her will more than a week ago. Savannah and her siblings have made multiple emotional appeals, even offered to pay for her safe return. A possible ransom deadline passed last night, though investigators haven't determined yet if the alleged ransom notes were real. And now these images are the first sign of a possible break in the case. Let's get to ABC's chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky. Aaron, what do we know about these images so far?
They appear to come from the doorbell camera here at Nancy Guthrie's home that had been tampered with, according to the FBI. And if you look at these images that appear in black and white, Diane, you see an individual who appears to be wearing a backpack and a mask and gloves. And one of those images, quite up close to the doorbell camera, the FBI says that is the individual tampering with the camera. The FBI says these images were previously inaccessible because the recording device had been taken, but working with the manufacturer, the FBI was able to recover these images. They are not characterizing the individual depicted in the image in any particular way, according to a message posted on social media by FBI Director Kash Patel. Previously, the FBI has said there are no suspects or persons of interest associated with Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. That now may be changing with the release of these images, though the FBI is not characterizing the individual depicted. You can see where the individual might be reaching close to the camera with a gloved hand to try and tamper with the camera before making entry. This was shortly before 2 a.m. at about 1:47 a.m. Mountain Time, according to a previous release timeline, Diane. And then at 2:12 a.m., a camera inside the house.
Let me hear that again. The timeline. Let me hear that again.
So the FBI is not characterizing the individual depicted. You can see where the individual might be reaching close to the camera with a gloved hand to try and tamper with the camera before making entry. This was shortly before 2 a.m. at about 1:47 a.m. Mountain Time, according to a previous release timeline, Diane. And then at 2:12 a.m., a camera inside the house that was not set up to record images was able to detect an individual, an intruder, inside the house. And that's the window when police...
Wow, look at that. So 1:47 Mountain Time, and then shortly after 2:12, he gets in. They captured him, a motion camera inside of the home. Wow. At 2:12 a.m.
believe Nancy Guthrie was taken, Diane.
And I want to bring in retired FBI agent and ABC News contributor Brad Garrett. Brad, the FBI director is saying that these images came from back-end data. How does that process work, and how big is this finding?
Well, I think it's a huge finding. Your answer is how difficult it is. I think The short answer is it depends. But obviously, it took them several days working with, I assume, Amazon, who owns Ring, to come up with these images. But you don't have a clear of his face. There are characteristics of this picture.
Sorry about the sound. I think it's that guy's connection.
Specifically say which manufacturer, but that's what the sheriff had told us they were working with to try to recover these images on what the authorities say are the back-end systems. So even if the camera wasn't necessarily recording or the recording apparatus was removed, they were still able to recover the images, probably by working with the manufacturer and likely, Diane, with the help of a warrant. So the FBI didn't specifically say, and I'm sure they're not terribly keen to explain how they recovered these images, but they did, and they are now the most important clue that we have seen in the last 9 days. There have been few, if any, leads, no suspects, according to the authorities, and while the individual depicted in a mask and backpack and gloves is not characterized as a suspect, the authorities now have at least one image to go on.
And I want to bring in retired FBI agent and ABC News contributor Richard Frankel. Richard, how big is this development? How significant is this? And where does the investigation go from here?
Yeah, as Aaron just said, this is the biggest development of the investigation, in that they do have pictures now that, well, not confirming she was taken, but confirming that there was a masked individual immediately before the time that she went missing. So, as you look at this investigation, it would lead me to believe that this was the person, at least, that was involved in some capacity in the abduction of Nancy Guthrie. And that's just, based upon my observation of what we're seeing. Also, it's hard to make out, is this a man? Is this a woman? Anything more about that. But you can see the eyes. You can see a little bit of the mouth. There are also programs out there, AI-generated techniques that are available to the FBI and to other law enforcement that they may.
That's true. That's how they got one of those terrorist guys, the Al-Qaeda dudes, the jihad dudes, or whatever you want to call them. He had a mask on, and they were able to use technology only the FBI had, law enforcement had, where they could pinpoint your face and restructure it, even if you had a mask on. That's how they got one of the terrorists, the one that was beheading people.
Be able to start getting more information about who this person is. They're going to be taking that picture and they're going to be putting it through every single configuration that they have of every database they have to see if there's anything more that they can get from this picture. They're also going to be looking at the clothing. They're going to be looking at everything associated with these pictures to see if there's anything more that can take them to their next lead. But I think this is a great job by the FBI and by law enforcement. They did not just move on from prior leads. They kept working it just like they do on these major investigations, and they were able to come up with this evidence.
And Aaron, they're not calling this person a suspect, but the FBI director does say this person was armed.
And I don't see a specific weapon just looking in the small version of these images, Diane, but that's what the FBI director says. And in looking just at the mask and the gloves and the backpack, and my God, you think how terrified Nancy Guthrie may have been, assuming she confronted this individual in her home at about 2 o'clock in the morning after a game night and dinner with her family at her daughter Annie's house nearby. We know that the FBI has also been scrutinizing other cameras here at the house. We spotted them on the roof, looking at rooftop cameras that were part of Nancy Guthrie's home security system. So perhaps the hope is they'll be able to recover additional images in addition to the ones that appear to be from the doorbell camera, previously inaccessible to authorities for a variety of reasons, they say. But the hope is to try and build out a much larger profile of this individual Even though they're not calling the person a suspect, it is the best images authorities and the public now have to go on, Diane.
And so many now hoping that they will lead them to Nancy Guthrie. Aaron, Brad, Richard, thank you all. And investigators are asking anyone with any information related to this case to call either one of those two tip lines on your screen. And we will have much more on ABC News Live and abcnews.com. And David will be back with the whole team from World News Tonight with more on this story.
Oh, whoa, man. Yeah, they're going to definitely catch this person. Definitely. I think that whole ransom note really used up a bunch of resources and threw them off in a different direction. But now that the they weren't, from my understanding, coming back to the FBI with feedback, the ransom people, I feel like they're going to go into this other direction, following these new leads, as they said, and going forward with that. But yeah, and putting their effort into this person. Yeah, this guy is too comfortable, right? Crime Time. Yeah, he's too comfortable, way too comfortable, like he's done it before. I agree. Let's see if there's any more news out. I was hoping Brian Enton would be on right now. I like that kid. That kid. I like that guy. Let's see. NBC, USA Today, ABC. Oh, here we go. 13 minutes ago. Let's see what they say. Share my screen. Yeah, he's good, huh? He's a good reporter. Yeah, I like him.
We begin with breaking news in the search for the 84-year-old mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie. An updated timeline from authorities provides a clearer picture of the moments before and after Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. On Saturday, January 31st, around 5:32 p.m., Nancy took an Uber to her daughter Annie's home for dinner. At 9:48 p.m., Annie's husband dropped Nancy off at home, and Nancy's garage door opened. At 9:50 p.m., the garage door closed. Then at 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera disconnected. At 2:12 a.m., software detected someone on camera, but investigators can't review that video because Nancy didn't purchase a subscription, and the company says it can't be recovered. At 2:28 a.m., Nancy's pacemaker app disconnected from her phone. Hours later, at 11:56 a.m., friends said Nancy didn't show up to church, and the family went to check on her. At 12:03, someone dialed 911, and at 12:15, the first deputies arrived on the scene.
Oh, look at this timeline. Look, February 1st, 11:56 a.m., the family checks on Nancy. And then 12:03 p.m., 911 is called. 12:15. Then they got there. That's a fast response. 12 minutes. Patrol arrives. That's fast. So they check on her from 11:56 a.m. on the 1st, and we know that it happened on January 31st. Oh, that's interesting. Interesting.
CBS News correspondent Jonathan Vigliotti is live in front of Nancy Guthrie's home in Tucson, Arizona. Jonathan, I know that you were there for today's press conference. Tell us about the new details and what stands out to you right now.
And Juliet, the timeline that you just listed, a significant development from that press conference. For the first time, we're getting a better sense of when Nancy Guthrie was possibly abducted. Officials now saying possibly sometime just after 2 in the morning. And when you look closer at the timeline, what stands out to me, it appears that whoever entered that home could have been inside for as long as 40 minutes next to the...
Yeah, look at that. Okay, yeah, here we go. Look at this. So, as earlier reported, 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera disconnects. And then remember, we were hearing that at 2:12, software detects a person on camera, no video available, no subscription, but it captured somebody on camera. 2:28. Look at that. 2:28 a.m. A pacemaker app shows disconnected from the phone. Oof. Hold on, let me crop this out. That's a very good timeline. I love timelines.
Blood that was found inside and outside of the home. The sheriff starting off the press conference saying that that blood was DNA tested. The results came back connecting it directly to Nancy Guthrie. At this point, no proof of life. I asked the sheriff if there were any signs that she was alive. He said, no, not at this hour. You mentioned the security.
Damn, he asked him if she was alive. He said, no, not at this hour. Jeez. That's super heartbreaking.
Security cameras, and I just want to point that out one more time because it's significant here in terms of how it's hampering this investigation. They were not working, so we have no idea who entered, who left. And on top of that, this is a rural community. You can see the vegetation. It sets back homes about 20 feet or so. It is a veil, and that has meant all of the security cameras on these neighboring homes yielded nothing in terms of capturing any movement. All of this now as officials continue on day 5 to call on the public for their help, Juliet.
Yeah, the FBI and Sheriff's Department actively investigating an apparent ransom note containing a deadline, as we were saying, for 5 p.m. tonight. So what do we know about that, and why, of all the tips they've received, they're taking this one so seriously?
Yeah, officials have received more than 1,000 tips. They have tracked down many of them. This one could be the most significant. And today we got more confirmation about that ransom note, how it was received. They confirmed that it was originally emailed to a local television station Monday night. That station then forwarded it to the sheriff handing it over to FBI officials. They're still analyzing it to see if it is valid. But with that said, today they announced that they are now taking it seriously, that it is possible the author of that ransom note is connected to the crime scene. They would.
Whoa, what? Let me listen to that again. Did you guys hear that? This came out 13 minutes ago. Hold on a minute. Let's listen to that again.
If it is valid. But with that said, today they announced that they are now taking it seriously, that it is possible the author of that ransom note is connected to the crime scene. They would not tell us the details inside that note initially, and then I pressed during a Q&A portion of the press conference. Take a listen.
The ransom note that was sent out there, obviously every lead in this case we are taking extremely serious.
But not everyone is presented to the family. Why this one?
Because this was the ransom that came in and it had facts associated with a deadline, with a monetary value they were asking for. So at that point...
What were some of those facts, if you can, because there's been a lot of speculation, as you know, if you can set the record straight.
Yeah, the ransom itself, one talked about an Apple Watch and one talked about a floodlight. We're not going to go into specifics. It's very important that we keep this investigation moving forward, and we don't want to put more facts out there that others then can use to try to profit from this.
So there you have it. And CBS News has now confirmed hostage negotiators with the FBI are now here on the ground as this search continues. Day 5 going into day 6 without much evidence.
Oh, day 5, day 6. Okay, well, what is... Man, this is so misleading. This came out 13 minutes ago, and he said he's on day 5. That's super misleading. Let me see what else is out there. Let's go to TMZ, your guys' favorite tabloid. Let me see. Let's see what they got to say. Screen share.
Welcome to TMZ Live. A big break in the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping case. The FBI is releasing photos and videos of the man who almost unequivocally kidnapped Nancy Guthrie, and it is terrifying, dramatic, and somewhat mysterious.
Right, because these images, it's the first images we have of anyone who potentially is involved in this. And we say potentially, but this person showed up on.
Hey, did you guys see that? How the heck does TMZ have a longer video of this? And the FBI comes out with a shorter video. You can see him ducking down his head. Look at that. He's coming from the left side. Check this out. What the heck?
Right, because these images, it's the first images we have of anyone who potentially is involved in this. And we say potentially, but this person showed up on her doorstep.
Did you guys see that? How does TMZ have a longer video than the FBI? Jeez, man.
First images we have of anyone who potentially is involved in this. And we say potentially.
Right, he knew the camera was there, Deanna Morris. Great point.
But this person showed up on her doorstep early Sunday morning.
Completely covered, head to toe covered, although you can see certain things that we're going to get to in a minute. But he clearly had planned out, not being in any way identified.
The mask, the full face mask, the heavy duty rubber gloves, and also a weapon on his waistband. You can see it there at the front of his waistband. There's a revolver or a pistol that is in a holster.
So what's interesting about this video, and let's play it again from the top. So you see him come up toward the door.
With his head down.
With his head down. Obviously, he doesn't want to be seen even though he's covered. Now, look what happens. It seems like he notices the camera. Now, watch what he does. He is going to turn around in just a minute. Now, watch this.
He's kind of covering it up. It's almost like he's thinking, what am I going to do
to cover it up?
To cover this camera.
So he walks out into the garden area, and he bends down and lifts up some shrubbery as if he's going to take that shrubbery and put it on the lens of the camera.
And he does actually bring the shrubbery over and puts it in front of the lens. And these are the last images that the FBI has released at this point, and maybe that's all they've retrieved at this point. But we know that at some point shortly thereafter, that camera was disabled.
Now, we're going to tell you why it took a week, because this is a fascinating story about why it did take a week and what they were able to retrieve. But before we do, look at this photo. This is a still where you see what appears to be a mustache and either a goatee or...
See this? The eyes, man. The eyes, they say, is the window to the soul. This guy has no soul. It's empty. But yeah, it does look like he has a mustache or something covering his upper lip. I don't know. That's interesting.
A full beard, because you see hair both above and below the lips. So this is either a goatee or a full beard, a dark beard, a dark mustache, but that's about all you see.
Yeah.
But that's a clue.
That's a lot. Also, we get a full, when the individual walks up, you get a full body shot. You get an idea of what this person's build is like.
He's somewhat stocky.
Yeah.
It's clearly a man. And, most important, it is the person who apparently kidnapped Nancy Guthrie.
And he was clearly there with ill intent. I mean, he showed up, he has this backpack, he has the gun holstered. I was, frankly, a bit surprised by his activity around that camera. And I don't know if you were. If you've come with that level of preparation, you have gloves, you have a mask on, to not have a piece of tape to affix over it, to go grab the shrubbery with no way to affix it to the camera, this seems like he was taken a little bit off guard as to how to deal with that situation. And you're right, though. You learn a lot about his facial features, his build. All of that stuff is clues that will help in this investigation.
I am puzzled by the grabbing the shrubbery, because one of the first things you would know is Ring doorbells, Ring cameras.
You would expect that.
You would expect it, and you would expect he would, he was able to disable a lot, which we're going to get into in a minute. So why wouldn't he expect that? Why is he suddenly grasping for shrubbery?
It's so strange because it's a bit of a hybrid. If it's a crime of opportunity, it's impulsive act and you're not prepared at all. This is someone who just grabs a purse when they see it because it's there. And then there are people who plan.
Right. So there is from the FBI. If you guys ever have a chance, I highly recommend reading John Douglas's book, Mindhunter. Super great book, and it talks about tactics. You know, not everything, obviously, but it gives you an overview of how behavioral analysts and the FBI does their cases. And what they did was for the layman person, for law enforcement, right? Local law enforcement and county levels, they would train them and they would say, okay, we're going to categorize this as an opportunity or disorganized or organized crime. And so they said that sometimes it's organized and disorganized at the same time. And that's what I was saying earlier on my Discord, that this looks organized and disorganized at the same time. He came prepared with a backpack, gloves, but then there's X factors, super disorganized. He grabs cilantro from Nancy's front porch and puts it on the doorbell camera. Super disorganized. But if you guys have a chance, I highly recommend it. They have it on audio book. John Douglas, very good book if you're in the true crime community. I highly recommend it. Let's get back to this.
And it all, and they have backpacks, and they've cased the joint. This seems to be in between because he's a little bit surprised by how to deal with this.
Planned, but not maybe
perfectly.
not perfectly planned. And that backpack, the FBI believes may have tools that were used in the abduction or to disable things around the house. Now
they're going to go back to their timeline.
We should get into why it took a week.
10 days.
Remember, when this first happened, the FBI said that they couldn't see any video, but they were able to know that somebody was there.
Right. And they said that camera had been disabled.
Right.
But what the FBI Director Kash Patel said, they've been working closely with private sector partners. That would be, in this case, Nest is the host of that camera, and says that they've been trying to recover images and video that may have been lost, corrupted, or inaccessible. The video was recovered from residual data located in back-end systems.
So destroying the actual camera itself doesn't destroy the data that has been collected in a cloud. I have these cameras at homes. They're very, very common now. They're set off by motion. The motion probably started recording him. And then regardless of whether he's covering or destroys the camera, that exists in a cloud, and you can get data people to scrape that.
What's confusing to me is they knew that day one, and it seemed like what they were able to initially retrieve, presumably from the cloud, did not show actual video, but they were able to somehow get this.
So they made a reference during the news conference where they laid out the timeline and said that Nancy didn't have a subscription where you get to save all that video and you can easily access it at home. Just because she couldn't see it at home doesn't mean that Nest doesn't have it.
Right.
And that's what they must have done. They went wherever the Nest servers are and accessed this information.
So Savannah Guthrie has posted some of these images herself, along with a plea, believing that her mother is still alive.
Yes, saying we believe she is still alive. Bring her home. And then she lists the FBI number, 1-800-CALL-FBI.
The cilantro bandit, man. The cilantro guy. What the heck, man? You come prepared. You have a backpack. You have gloves. You have a mask. You have your little mini light that you got from Harbor Freight Tools, right? That free one they give you. And you don't bring tape. You don't bring. You duck your head. That's so stupid.
Or the Pima County Sheriff's Department.
Now, the one thing we don't know is how long has the FBI had this video? And
I don't think they've had it very long.
I don't know.
I don't either.
I suspect that you heard him describe how difficult it was to get it, what the process they had to go through. They
have a longer video too. TMZ has a longer video than what the FBI released. Look at this. Let me go back where he has his head ducked. Watch.
I don't know.
I don't either.
I suspect that you heard him describe how difficult it was to get it, what the process they had to go through. They, as far as we know publicly, don't have a lot of clues. And this is a huge one. For the first time now, instead of the public throwing out theories and speculation, there's an image for everyone in the Tucson area and beyond to look at and say, do I recognize anything about this person's gait, about their clothing, about the backpack, the mustache, all of it?
I think soliciting the help of the public is the right call.
But the only reason I
Look at that. He's covering it with cilantro. He's trying to make pico de gallo.
I think soliciting the help of the public is the right call.
But the only reason I'm saying maybe, I don't know.
Right.
You have a 700-mile radius.
What I'm thinking is there is something still about this ransom note. And if the ransom note is legitimate, that maybe their initial path was, let's get her home by complying with the ransom note. Now, we have checked the Bitcoin address every 5 minutes, and so far, no deposits.
transaction, yeah.
So the $6 million that the kidnapper demanded has not been deposited. So I don't know whether at the point of reaching that dead end, they decided, okay, now we'll release this picture, or maybe they just got it. I mean, it just seems odd to me that it would take 10 days to retrieve this, that they may have had it before and they were working on leads. I don't know. It just seems odd to me why that's not something that should take 10 days if somebody's life is on the line like this.
Yeah, and that's why I think they did just get it, because her life is on the line. If they had anything to help get other clues to throw out to the public so that people would phone in with with tips, I think they would have done that. And you heard that yesterday when Savannah said, we are in desperate hours, right? So
asking for any help from the public.
And they wanted any help from the public. So that's why I got to believe the FBI just got these
and
images.
wouldn't sit on
I just want to say one other thing. And again, I'm just saying this. We received the first ransom note, and it is so well thought out, planned. It is articulate. It is just methodical in the way it's written. And then you look at these images, and you see him kind of bumble around looking for leaves. It doesn't align with the ransom
Those
note.
don't have to be the two same parties. This could be a conspiracy of people, and the person
It doesn't
executing
feel like
it doesn't.
aligns.
You're right. It looks haphazard here.
It looks haphazard, and the note is very intentional. Yes.
I get what I agree with you that it's haphazard and they seem unprepared, but they also came with a gun, with gloves, a mask, the backpack filled with whatever. There are elements of this that were very clearly planned out, but you're right. You're right.
Not everything.
This is, they always say that criminals make a mistake, and all they need to do is make one mistake, and that may have been it. That they, for some reason, didn't realize there was going to be a camera right there when they walked up to the door.
Which is just odd.
It's really,
But
really
I just
odd.
want to say one other thing. That, again, by sending these two notes to
the media,
particularly Tucson stations, that I have a feeling they're looking in the Tucson area for somebody who at least was there that meets a description like this, because they seemed, at least if the ransom note is tied to the kidnapper that we're looking at right there, then it seems like it would be in the Tucson television market.
I'm Emily from Cleveland, Ohio. And I honestly think this whole situation has been confusing, especially the more time that goes on. I feel like part of it feels like they knew what they were doing, and part of it feels like they came in totally just like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It's like you thought it out, but you didn't think it out at the same time.
Yeah, you said it perfectly.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
you said it perfectly. That I'm so puzzled by what you just said. You're right, that it's so well planned and so not well planned. And how do you reconcile
How do you reconcile those things? By the way, just stay tuned. I have a feeling there are going to be more images coming out today, that the FBI is continuing to pull more data out of cameras and whatever else was at Nancy's home, and you're going to get more information as this, hour by hour.
Well, and one of the things you want to know is, what was this person driving?
Right.
And are they tracking that, which I'm sure they are, that if they've got this video, is there any video showing any vehicle around that area?
Around this time. Now they know what time this person walked up to the door. So there's going to be a lot more coming out.
That's huge. The timeline, that is huge. Yeah, I bet the kidnappers are getting nervous, huh, Art? Heck yeah. Man, these buffoons, right? The salsa bandits. What do we call them? The cilantro bandit, the pico de gallo bandit. If all you wanted was some cilantro, man, just ask. You don't have to kidnap people for that. Gosh, what an idiot, man. They're gonna find this dude. They're gonna find this dude. I think the resources, those pieces of shit that put in the ransom note, really threw off the investigation, and hopefully, whether it is or it isn't connected, I don't think it is. I think just people were trying to trying to take advantage of the situation of a grieving family. You see that a lot with missing cases. You see that a lot with these kinds of crimes. And people text you saying that they have your family member, and you're grieving and you want answers. So you're gonna reach out. You're gonna follow that lead. I mean, how can you not, right? How can you just say, no, this is a scam? No, you gotta follow every lead that comes in. You have to. Well, what else are you gonna do? You can't ignore it. Right? Yeah, that's the thing too, right? If they panic, Art says, if they panic and do something stupid, but I mean, they've already are doing something stupid. So it's like, oh man, I really hope and pray that Nancy is alive and well and doing okay. I want to believe that. Um, but it's strange because it's she's not at home right now, right? So where is she? And this guy comes into your home. So 1+1 is 2 tells me that he took her or he killed her and put her somewhere. Maybe around the house, maybe around the property, right? We see that a lot too. But I don't think I mean, did he have enough time to bury her? I mean, there would have been fresh the ground would have been disturbed. That would have been super noticeable in my opinion, because the police, border patrol were out there searching the area, and they're trained to look for disturbed brush, disturbed ground. They're trained for that. They're very good at what they do. That's all they do. And I would imagine that law enforcement would have seen something like that, disturbed ground, maybe where she could have been possibly buried. Then you have the helicopters, right? The helicopter was over the house. They must have spotted something. They have technology on their cameras. That was wild, man. I didn't know. I've all day today. TMZ comes out with a longer footage that not even the FBI brought out. Isn't that wild? I'm like tripping over that. Super wild. Was it cartel in Mexico? Mariska says, is she in Mexico? I don't think so. In my opinion, the cartel doesn't need to come to the U.S., kidnap a high-profile person, go back to Mexico. They do that over there in Mexico. Why would they want to come over here, get the heat on them, go back? It's too much of a, they would just do it there. They do things there, unfortunately, right? They wouldn't come over, come back, in my opinion. It's just, it doesn't make sense to me that that's what they would do. They do kidnappings over there. So it doesn't make sense to do that and come over here. That's just my opinion. And I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I just, the cartel functions a little differently than that, in my opinion. So I don't know. I really want this guy to get cleared, man, so bad, because then we can kind of move on from this guy. Because how heartbreaking would it be if Tomas was involved some way, shape, or form, allegedly, right? And we don't know that. But that's your sister's husband. I mean, you're already heartbroken that your mom is missing. And then now your husband did something? I mean, how much more can the heart take? They always say the closest ones are the ones that hurt you the most, and I believe that. But it's just, oh man, it just would be more of a heartbreak times 10 that if Tomas had something to do with it. I don't think so. Just from what the press conference came out, I think this person's just was trying to rob the house, burglary gone wrong, and the ransom note is maybe part of something different. You know, somebody that is trying to take advantage of the situation. So I'm gonna continue to cover this. I'm gonna continue to see what's out there, and I do gotta eat. I do gotta catch up on cleaning my lawn. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, so I gotta cut the lawn before it rains, or else it gets more difficult to cut. So, oh yeah, let me see. Let's check it out real quick. Let's see. Oh yeah, presents out there. All right. But I got to get going, guys. You guys are more than welcome to check out the news from the bigger channels. I unfortunately have to get going. I have to go do some adulting. But thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up. Get me out in the algorithm. If you guys have any pictures or videos you like to share, contact me at marktheshark943 at outlook.com. Whether it's this case or the 99% coverage that I'm doing with the Celeste Rivas case. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for being cool and cooperative in the chat. Thank you guys for being respectful. I really appreciate it. You guys are amazing. And man, hopefully she's okay. She's alive and she can come back home. So that way, you know, they could continue their life and continue the healing process after all this. So, oh man, I hope and pray that Nancy's okay and that she gets returned in one piece, you know, in the sense of just okay, you know. And guys, man, if you guys are in the Tucson area, do your thing, man. Go call in, even if it's something small. I'm telling you, the smallest thing can break this case open. You might have known the guy. You might have known the footwear. You might have known the gloves. You might have known that this guy fumbles around when he walks, the backpack, the anything, right? Or maybe your friend or significant other says, "Hey, I'll be back," and he leaves at 1 a.m. And you're like, "Well, that's weird. You've never left at 1 a.m. before." Call it in. I'm telling you, call it in, guys, please. Okay. So prayers for Nancy and her family, Savannah and her family. And man, we'll just hope for some resolutions. We'll keep track of this and we'll see what happens, guys. You guys have a good day. I got to get going. I got to go clean the yard. So I really appreciate you guys being here with me. You guys have a good day. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. You guys have a good day. Thank you, guys. And thank you, Gold, for holding it down. Appreciate it. Thank you. Goodbye, guys.